Hi, this is John Guzik with the Franklin Partnership in Washington, D.C. Welcome to 2 Minutes with One Voice. Let's get started. We expect OSHA to issue its long-awaited COVID-19 emergency standard soon. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration sent over a draft Emergency Temporary Standard, ETS, to the White House Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, OIRA, their draft standard just this past week. This is the final step before publishing in the Federal Register. The standards issued on April 26 were originally anticipated as early as March 15th, following an executive order issued by President Joe Biden, but the administration put their release on hold. Earlier this week, Secretary of Labor Marty Walsh testified before a House Appropriations Subcommittee, and he indicated that there was no firm deadline for issuing these emergency standards. However, we know when a rule or standard is issued to OIRA, it typically takes 2 weeks for final consideration, so we do expect these rules soon. An earlier draft of these standards were put on hold by Secretary Walsh because he wanted these standards to reflect the latest scientific data based on the status of the current disease, the COVID disease. He asked the Department of Labor to do a rapid review based on the latest CDC analysis of the infection, based on current vaccinations and the current situation with variances moving forward. The standard, set to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the workplace, is expected to include requirements on employers to establish infection control and prevention programs, workplace testing programs, encouraging vaccinations in the workplace, paid sick leave programs to allow people to get tested. These binding requirements, these binding standards, are expected to take effect immediately. However, sources in Washington indicate that industry groups may end up filing suit against the implementation of these standards. But unless told by a federal court, all employers must implement these standards immediately. And then finally, as many cities and states are lifting their COVID restrictions, regardless of where you live, as this is federal, all employers will be required to implement these standards moving forward. That's all for now. Thank you for joining another episode of 2 Minutes with One Voice. Look for another episode next week.